Hello everyone and welcome to the Magnetic Presence International Forum from Speak to Shine. I'm David Roylance. I am an Amazon best-selling author multiple times. You'll see my latest tome, Be Seen, Be Heard, Get Paid What You Are Worth, here on the table. I'm one half of Speak to Shine, and with me on the sofa is the other half of Speak to Shine.
Hello, I'm David Gill, and welcome and enjoy the show.
We're four business transformational specialists here on the two sofas, and I've got a couple of experts sitting to my right who I'd love to introduce to you and ask them to share some of their wisdom and some of their stories, because we're all business transformational specialists, but we all do it in very, very different ways, don't we? So, Lippy Sarkar, can I ask you to introduce yourself to the audience and how you transform the businesses that you work with, please?
Thank you, David, and welcome everyone. I'm Lippy Sarkar. I'm business transformation specialist and co-author of the book Building a Digital Future. I help businesses to digitize their businesses and grow financially.
Thank you. And Alice Cook. Woo woo.
Thanks for that. I'm Alice Cook. I'm a copywriter, and I help businesses transform their bottom line, their profits, and their fortunes in general with the power of the written word.
Very good. Now, what I'd love to ask first is, how come you're doing what you're doing? How did you get into this?
I'm going to go first because I've got the book.
Yes.
I started out as a journalist for my sins, but not a sleazy tabloid paparazzi style journalist. I used to work for Country Life magazine, so writing about horses and dogs and shooting and things. And I started copywriting, having been in journalism for nearly 10 years. I know, I don't look old enough. But it was kind of by accident, because friends, relations, everyone I knew would ask me to write stuff for them, which was anything from best man speeches, resignation letters, blogs, websites, and quite quickly I realised that you could make a tangible difference to people's businesses by putting the right words in the right places, and that's kind of where it all started.
Thank you. And Lippy?
I started out as more interested and had a passion for technology. So I started in the industry more as a technologist. But I had a passion also to understand what goes underneath or behind the technology, what is happening within the business. So I wanted to see more about the business and what could I help and in terms of growing the business and take it financially higher and in terms of making the business more efficient. So that's where my passion grew in terms of creating this journey of business transformation.
And did you have your own business at that time, or were you working?
I was more into corporate, and then I have helped many businesses in different sectors, and that kind of also had that confidence in terms of believing in creating my own business in this world.
And I know that we can't name names, but we can say that the people you used to work with were one of the big four. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you. So, I would love to know from both of you, what is like a big dream that you've made come true through running your business and working with your clients in the way that you have?
I made other people's dreams come true with my business.
Well, I mean, for you personally, a dream that you have had and you know that exists now because I've made it possible through what I've done.
I have taken my business from just me, slightly pre-pandemic, only just, to 7 plus me, and it's a much bigger business than I ever imagined it would be, so that's a bit of a dream come true for starters. And it now works with multinational companies that everyone will have heard of, which is quite cool. And I think that's a dream come true.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Lippy.
One of my dreams was to write a book, and during pandemic, I got the opportunity to write my experience while I was at Big Four, while I was in the multinational consulting companies. So I wanted to bring that, how you can prepare the organization to go for business transformation. And that's the passion I had, and I think that one of the dreams came true of co-authoring the book.
Very good. How does it feel to have it sitting on the table in front of you?
Yes, you can see that few years ago.
I made that thing happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a tangible asset. It's building a digital future. You can get it in Amazon or in Wiley.
So to make it clear that Building a Digital Future is the title of the book that sits on the table. And yes, Amazon and Wiley, that's where you can
Absolutely.
purchase it. David, have you got a dream that you make come true?
Yes, I have. And this is actually just becoming a dream. You know, we sitting here talking about our expertises and talking about how we help other people make their dreams come true. So this is kind of my motivation, how we can inspire others just to get things done, right? So it's really all about one step at a time. Don't be afraid of. Just go out there, do the things. If you need to do them twice or 3 times, just do it again, but do it better, right?
Yeah.
So today is really amazing because we're together here and we're giving something to the audience that they may take home and maybe tomorrow apply in their lives, in their businesses. And this is really giving me a lot of pleasure. This is why we're here. So we want to transmit that to all of you as well. And now I want to hear more about the challenges that they are actually solving for the other people. So Vicky, tell us about something, kind of a challenge you solve for other people.
I think the biggest challenge in the business transformation world is about not understanding what are the complexities, what are the challenges. Yes, the business is not performing well, the business are not growing well, but in terms of where exactly the problem lies. So it's underpinning that issue of problems and then coming up with a roadmap in terms of what can you do better in the business. And it could take few months to few years because it's a transformation journey. It's about how you can change the culture, how you can bring all the people and empower the employees and then do the transformation, not just the technology. And yes, of course, you have to find the right technology doing the work, but it's also about what data you are capturing, what information you are capturing in that system. So it's the biggest challenge is that I get from the C-suite leaders is about not understanding where the businesses are not performing well.
That's very interesting. So for the moment you come into a business and work with clients, what is kind of a time frame they start seeing changes or benefits from working with you?
That's a very interesting question because the benefits could lie between 6 months to 1 year, and transformation depends on which area of the businesses you are transforming. So you cannot transform the whole business in one go, in one big bang. So it takes a phased approach first. And then once you start realizing the benefits, it takes about, again, starting from 3 months, those quick wins, low-hanging fruits, and then start transforming and realizing these benefits 6 months down to 2 years.
Excellent. So if you talk data, for example, so some facts, what is a tangible result usually clients experience working with you?
So the tangible result will be their financial growth and increasing their business efficiencies, empowering their own employees and who can make informed decisions and having a Z moment in their life.
Very nice, excellent. Thank you very much, Lynn. Alice, your turn. What are those challenges that you solve from other people?
For the most part, this is quite varied for my clients, but for the most part, they tend to be quite technical, which means they write in a language that no one can understand. But they're really good at what they do. They just can't translate what they do into something that will resonate with their clients or potential clients, because they speak in such techie, jargon-ridden, acronym-laden language that no one really knows what they're saying. So my job is to bridge the gap between how expert they are at what they do and how brilliant and what they can actually do for people. So I bridge the language gap between all the tech and all the jargon and the plain and simple language that people will actually understand, resonate with, want to know more about. So that's the challenge I mostly solve.
Right. I'm just hearing someone asking from the audience. So, give us an example.
Okay, so a prime example is a cybersecurity company who were based just in Europe. They're headquartered in Europe, and they wanted to break into the American market, and they spent tens of thousands of pounds putting a website together, and then got non-native English speakers to put the copy together for that website, and America didn't notice because there was far too much of it to begin with, and it wasn't written using the words that America wanted to hear, was looking for, or understood. So they took me on board, and when they were in a fairly angry state and regretting their choices, and I basically slashed everything that we'd done, much to their dismay, and started again, and produced about a third of the volume of what they had originally, because saying less is saying more, and then it worked. And now they have two headquarters in America, one in Denver and one in Washington, and they have well and truly broken the American market, and they make hundreds of thousands of pounds a year from the American market, and that is down to using the right words in the right places.
That is impressive. So, same question to you. How long does it take, in months, weeks, whatever, so they can really experience change?
So a piece of content, depending on what the piece of content is, can have an immediate impact. So if you're writing someone a slogan and it's going out on an advert, the impact is immediate. People will start buying straight away if you've used the right words. In digital terms on a website, because of the wonders and perils of SEO, it's cumulative, and it takes months and months and months of putting the right words in the right places, in the right order, again and again and again, making sure the right people see it, and then it will start to take effect. So, digitally speaking, it's a slow burner, but it's eventually massive, but you have to do it right, and you have to do it consistently, and you have to not lose faith early on, which does happen, but if you stick with it, it can transform your business, it really can.
That's exciting, isn't it? Yeah, but it is. Actually, everyone here is finding this really exciting. So let's get to the next one. Is there anything else you would like to know from our guests, David?
Yes. Well, I know that the conversation that's been going on in the audience is around how things have changed in the last 3 years. And like mega change, right? Because 3 years of craziness, so put a hand in the air if you think the last 3 years have been crazy, and keep it there if you wonder when it's all going to end, because exactly. So I wonder how things have changed for your clients in the last 3 years.
So, first of all, although the pandemic was obviously a terrible and unexpected thing, it was completely brilliant for copywriters, because nobody could connect with their clients in the normal way. No one could see each other face to face, and they needed to find a way to communicate with them immediately. So all copywriters suddenly had a lot of work, and it went rather well for us. Not that I'm doing down the pandemic, very bad. that still stands today. People have not gone back to the way they were before entirely. There's a new normal and a new way of working. Teams are remote. Clients don't come into shops as much as they did anymore. People have to connect with their potential customers in an entirely different way. And that is through the written word, partially through content, partially through the written word.
Thank you. And Libby, for you?
During the pandemic, I think everybody realizes now that the business need to digitize. Where the strategy of digitization was like in 3 years or 5 years, it has kind of brought forward and businesses understands that they need to digitize. But in terms of where they start, how they do it, that's the key challenge the sales leaders still have. And that's where I can help in terms of breaking it down, understanding the complexities and letting them know these are the areas that you can bring in quick growth and making the businesses more efficient. So yes, but during the pandemic it has changed, and like the retail sector, they are also, everything has gone live overnight. Think about a couple of case studies in my book I have written. I was reaching out in terms of the challenges they were going through. Like the big automotive industry, they overnight had to think about different way of selling cars or different ways of engaging with their audience. So it's all about how you are reaching the target audience, how you can manage the expectation, what are the key criteria that you're bringing in. And I think that's what has changed.
And have you any thoughts about what the future might hold, like the next 12 months for business?
It's going to grow, it's going to continue, and definitely digitization would be a theme, and every organization are working for that, even if it is not like a very quick one, but people are trying to go over the fact that how we can digitize.
So is more quickly, do you think?
I think it will stabilize very quickly.
Yeah, thank you. So if we look towards the future and think about the next 12 months, what I'd like to know is what would you personally like to achieve?
I would like to help more businesses, and not just the small medium sector, but even the big organization, because the complexities are more in the large organization where they have like number of business areas and not talking to each other, they are in silos. So how you can bridge that gap and bring it all together and help them become more efficient. So I think that's where I would like to aim my future target clients.
How would someone recognize that they need you?
If they're having the business challenges, and if the organization have made a decision in terms of changing their ways of working, or they have acknowledged the fact that something needs to change, but they haven't yet figured out where exactly they need to change.
So if you know something needs to change, but you haven't worked out what to do, typically what happens is people do nothing. Is that right?
Nothing is not an option anymore.
Well, yes, especially since things are moving so fast, right, in the globe. So we know. I did a little research on the last time that we had a global recession, and I think in this country alone, in the United Kingdom, the average was 55 businesses a day that closed. And that was over like a 3-year period as an average, and so I know digitization is important, and I'm talking to the right person about digitization. What do you think is if you had a message for any business that was sort of threatening to go under because they weren't doing anything, what would you say to them?
I would say the first thing you would need to do is your information that you're capturing about the target market or the clients. Have you got the right data? And sometimes the systems are full of a lot of information and you're using that information. If not, just reduce it and think about the absolute information that you would need that you can make it forward and take it forward for your business.
Amazing. So it's not about volume, isn't it? Is it in terms
it's about the right data.
Yeah. Thank you. And Alice, in terms of things you'd like to accomplish over the next 12 months or more?
Over the next 12 months, I would like to see more of the clients that I've been getting, or we have been getting of late, who are by and large multinational companies. So it's a much bigger prospect and a much bigger job, and I'm really enjoying that. So that's new, so I'd like to continue that. And in line with that, which will be a necessity, to expand the team further, because we've got some fantastic writers on board, but already at capacity at the moment. Probably could do with a few more.
Okay, so you're hiring.
Always hiring.
Excellent. So you have to click yes, I'm hiring on LinkedIn when they ask.
Exactly.
Yeah. So can you tell me, or tell me and our audience, why is copywriting important? Why is it a necessary thing to have in business?
So, first of all, I'm going to tell you why spelling is important, which it is.
Yes.
Because it genuinely doesn't matter how fantastic you are at what you do, no matter what industry you're in, like a mechanic, a chef, anything. If you have a website and there's a glaring spelling error on your website, and you haven't gone back to correct that, you haven't looked at it again, you've just put it on there and you haven't noticed. What else do you not go back and check? How thorough are you in what you do? Why should I give my money to you and why should I trust you? Do you not care enough to go back and check? Which obviously is entirely unfair, by the way, because it has absolutely no reflection on how good you are at what you do whatsoever. But that is what people will think.
Yeah. And the irony is, isn't it, that people go on the internet to find out if you're real.
Yeah.
Even when they've met you. So that, and so that impression is key. You're absolutely right.
Which is why using the right words and the right language for your target audience, your ideal clients, is so important, because every demographic speaks a different language, uses different words, resonates with different phrases, and sees content in different places at different times. So it doesn't matter how you speak naturally, it matters how your ideal clients want to hear from you. That's the language you should be speaking, and that's why copywriting matters. And it should be concurrent in every single piece of content that comes out of your business, whether that's a text, an email, a marketing funnel, your social media, your blogs, your website. They should all sound the same. You don't consciously think about it, but you know the voice of Lloyds Bank, and you know the values,
Yes.
you know what they stand for. You know what the co-op sounds like, you know the voice they use, you know the words they use, you know who they are from the words that they use. That's what you need to achieve.
Brilliant, thank you. David, do you have any other questions for our esteemed guests?
I do, yes. So now you catch my attention, right? And I hope audiences will. So if I want to get in touch with you, where do I find you? How do I connect with you?
So probably the easiest way to connect with me personally is on LinkedIn. I'm Alice Cook with an E on the end. Cookie. That's me. Or my company's called On Top of the Word .co.uk. That's how you can get in touch with me. Those are probably the easiest ways for me. What would you say, Debbie?
I'm Libby Safka, and you can find me on LinkedIn. And my company is called Ascendi Transformation Limited, but it's better to connect with through LinkedIn.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you both. So we're running out of time now. It has been amazing. Very, very informative. Very interesting insights. Maybe some last question from your side, David, and then we wrap up.
Thank you, David. So if you could give like a 1-2 sentence piece of extra good schnizzle for our audience, really, really good stuff from your mind, from your experience, that people ought to know about your area of work, what would it be?
Say less. Make the words that you do use mean more by using better words, but for goodness sake, say less. No one's reading all these words. Make an impact, make it quickly, get it done, say less.
Thank you. Libby?
Think about the most informative information that you want to have in your.
Of course.
Think about the most important information, most important data that you want to use in your business.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Expert insights here at the Magnetic Presence International Forum. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, my two wonderful guests, for being here with us. Thank you very much, David, for sharing the stage with me. Take good care. Good night.
Thomas, don't make me have audience. You know